You know, sometimes as a content creator, you just get this idea and you've got to get it out there. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always guys, I am Andrew. Today I've got a kind of just a weird fun video for you, but before we get into that, make sure you're liking and subscribing, hitting that bell notification so you can get regular updates for when I put out new content. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That said guys, today I just had an idea pop straight up into my head, and I kind of had to just get it out to you. There is really no rhyme or reason for this other than the fact that as readers and collectors, the first thing that pulls us in as readers is the cover. And me personally, I have a favorite color scheme. It's blue, it's black, and white. Any mixture of those colors, and I am instantly paying attention to the book. It doesn't matter if it's horror, it doesn't matter if it's sci-fi, it doesn't matter if it's fantasy. Doesn't matter at all. If it's blue, it's black, I'm paying attention. And this kind of started as a joke. Way back when with Gareth Hanrahan's The Gutter Prayer. This is from the early days of the channel. I would go the blue, the black, the gutter. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, no, I'm really drawn to blue and black and white covers as a reader. So the idea of this video is I'm just going to kind of talk about some of my favorite covers that are blue, black, and white. Or some variation thereof. And if this is a concept that you like, let me know in the comments down below, and I will do other color schemes or just talk about covers in general, because there's a lot to love. And I have to kick it off with the Gutter Prayer. And this cover is just so good. In fact, this is done by one of my favorite cover artists, which is Richard Anderson. Richard Anderson has done Nicholas Eames. He did The Kings of the Wild. I know he did Brian Lee Durfee's cover, and of course, Gareth Hanrahan's. But I mean, look at this cityscape. This feels dingy, it feels dark, but at the same time, it feels mystical. When I found this book, I was like, that looks awesome. It just looks, for lack of a better word, it just looks dope. This is so cool. And that's why I will refuse to call this the Gutter Prayer. It is the blue, the black, and the gutter. Now, another one that I absolutely love here, that actually does a really good job, because I've read this book. Now, all of these I will not have read. Let me preface this is just purely based off covers. Is Winds of Strife by U.G. Gutman. This is a self-pubbed book. But when you look at this, you see the flowing cape with the white and the kind of black spires. And then you see this dark shadow hanging off and this girl swimming down. And, this all makes sense. The main character of this struggles with an inner madness / darkness. So the shadow makes sense. I believe this is Princess Ivy, I think is her name. There is a scene where she dives down and she is swimming, and it just all makes sense. The tone fits a darker story. This conveys, I think that's something that I like. Now that I'm literally speaking fully off the cuff here, is the blue and the black can demote a darker, I don't know if demote or convey, there we go, convey a darker tone to a story, and I absolutely love it. One of my favorites that does this, though, is The Howling Dark by Christopher Rocchio. This cover, now I know I've got Myler on there and it's really reflective, but he's sitting there and there is gold worked through this individual sitting, I won't talk about who the individual is, sitting on this throne, but at the same time you've got this shining antimatter sword. High matter? No, it's a high matter sword. And you just got this scene that it's a darker tone. And then you've got this kind of almost stone font in this kind of blue and white. I love this. And frankly, I know they switched cover artists between Empire of Silence and Howling Dark, but this one is just fantastic. And frankly, I will be following this artist. As soon as I look them up, I'll be following them for more artwork, because that is awesome. Now I've got just a stack of blue, black, and white covers here. But, some of these work and some of them don't. And this is one that I think could probably use a little bit more work. Specifically, we've got the Lotlands trilogy. This is the third book, The Free Bastards. And this is Oats. I believe this is Oats. And the problem is you get a kind of a Sons of Anarchy feel, sort of vibe to this. But at the same time, it's also kind of that photorealistic thing, that blue and black kind of doesn't work for. I think this is kind of blue and blackish. It has a little bit more of a gray tone to it. But, like, they don't look like half-orcs. It's just, it doesn't work for me as well. So, a lot of the times, even with my favorite color schemes, it just doesn't end up working. But then there are times when a debut author decides, you know what, let's swing for the hills. And that's Scott Draver's Rise of the Mages. I won this in a Twitter giveaway, and the only reason I entered that Twitter giveaway was because of the cover. Now, I later found out after the fact that Brian Lee Durfee had done a blurb on the back for this. But man, like, you've got this blue and black, you've got like these little blue runes, which just it's dripping magic on this cover. Like, I still haven't read this one. Even the magic charm, it's like, what is it about blue? It's either blue or like flame red that just feels like magic. Maybe it's that like blue idea of mana. I don't know, but I love it. And you've just kind of got this city in the distance. This feels just epic fantasy AF, and I am here for it. I mean, let's just get in on that cover. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Yes! All right. Now, I would have to mention one of my favorite books of last year. However, this cover does something that the more I look at it, the less I like. So we've got our cover image here, right? This is gorgeous. We've got these kind of black cliffs and this shady blue mist. And then we've got these fires and this almost unattainable castle/keep. And this is a high story, so it makes sense. We've got the water and the pooling down here. But as we turn the cover, it kind of wraps around the cover, but then it just repeats a different version of the cover on the back. So literally it just cuts here, and then that's your back. And that's where you lose me on the back cover. I would have just liked to see that wrap around maybe a little bit more and be a little bit more engaging. So a lot of the times when it comes to covers, shortcuts are taken, and it feels like on the Emberblade they took a little bit of the shortcut when doing the back cover. And that makes me sad because this is an exquisite, fantastic read. And I refuse to hear otherwise. I refuse to hear otherwise that it is a bad book. Now this one's kind of creepy, and I like it. This is Shadow Captain, and I don't know what entry this is, but I think this is the Revengers trilogy by Alastair Reynolds. And it's a sci-fi. I believe it's a space opera. I know the difference. But we've got a space opera here, and we've got kind of this crest of a planet, and then this ethereal kind of glow around this ship. And it's just dark, and it's kind of spooky. And I love that, you know, I said earlier, it can demote a little bit of darkness, but man, when it works, it works. This is the cover that made me want to read this entire trilogy. Because I know he'd done like Revelation Space, and there was some buzz on that last year. But I picked this trilogy up over Revelation Space because the covers used color in such a dynamic way that it made me want to read these more. Alright, now, I've got a few others here, but I'm not going to talk about them all because we'll be here forever. Now, this next one is from the master himself, and that is Michael Whelan. This cover is absolutely exquisite. I wish that the cover reflected a little bit more of the actual story. It's got elements that kind of take from the story, but man, when you look at this, it is absolutely fantastic. He's in this river, he's sinking, he's reaching for that like fluorescent green feather, which is just this drop of a third color within this blue, black, and white landscape, and it just works. It works so well. I love Michael Whelan's covers, and he is frankly the master for a reason. Now let's do a couple more here, and specifically one that I am excited to get, just specifically because of the cover. Now I've heard kind of mixed reviews on this one. This is Among Thieves by M.J. Kuhn. And literally this is very foggy, very dark. You've kind of got the vibe of somebody out late at night when they probably shouldn't be. Most of the people are asleep, and we get just these tiny pops of color here of lanterns and windows, demoting that it is nighttime. She is out. I'm assuming this is a female. She's kind of got that female form. But, like, it's so good using just little pops of color to really make it feel like it's nighttime and she is up to some mischief late at night. Now, one that I'm not sure I like, and this is where it kind of goes back into doing a little bit of more of an abstract here. We've got Infernal here by Mark DeJager. And this is a Solaris, and I don't know if there's different covers out there. I know Solaris has their printings, and then there are also other printings of these books. This one's mostly white, where it then goes straight into black, and you've kind of got the blue text. He's kind of shrouded in blue. I don't know anything about this story, but it doesn't really make me want to read it. And literally, we've just kind of got this individual, some swords strapped to their back. It's very, very just abstract, and I'm not sure what this story is about. But, like, if I was to see this on a cover, or on a bookshelf, I should say, I probably would pick something else over this one. And, I mean, it's in the shape of a wing, which is kind of cool. But again, I still don't know what it's about. Infernal, it could be about demons, it could be about bats. We don't know. And then, of course, let's close it out with one of my favorites. Like I said, I'm not going to show you all the ones I pulled, because I ran around my house like a madman pulling covers. We've got The Seventh Cadence by Jim Wilborn. This is put out by Emergent Realms. And frankly, I love this cover. And it was recently brought to my attention that there's a desk lamp on this cover that doesn't really fit. I don't know why I'm bringing that up here when I'm just talking about pure aesthetics. But this is literally a scene lifted directly from the book. And so we can really, I love when a book cover takes a scene directly from the book and puts it on the cover, so you know that this is an epic moment that I'm going to read. Like, this is so cool. I can really get in there. I'm going to read that moment in this story. And I love when they do that. But we've got this big old dragon just shrouded in all sorts of just colors and fluorescence. It just works. You can tell that this dragon is underwater because we've got these little bubbles going on right here. We've got some fish going on. This is really, really cool. It's a really, really descriptive cover that really conveys what is in this story, or at least a moment in this story, very, very well, because it's so specific. I love this book, and I love this cover. That's it, guys. Thank you for indulging me as I just ramble about blue and black covers. I have just been wanting to do this all of a sudden for like a couple weeks. Like, it's just kind of been rattling around in the back of my brain. So thank you for indulging me if you have made it this far. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite color schemes are on covers, or what was your favorite of the ones that I showed. Just kind of let me know. That's it, guys. That's all I've got for you. So, till next time, peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.